Today we are driving the facelifted big boy in the Mercedes lineup. This is here the Mercedes GLS facelift, so to speak, the S-Class of SUVs inside the Mercedes portfolio. But how S-Class-ish is it really? And what can it do against the main competitor, the BMW X7, for example? We'll find out. It's Thomas Nautigafru in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with this new front grille. Before it looked a little bit more old school. Now they have this more horizontal, shiny design. Let's take it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it always looks like this, unless you go for the AMG 63 version, which then gets the vertical fins in the front grille. One of my favorite Mercedes color. It's in unicolor. It's called Alpine Gray. And it looks matte-ish, but it's not a matte color. As I said, no metallic, it's a unicolor. And I think it really looks always fresh and is also not too sensitive when it's like a little bit dirty or something. It always looks great, actually. Multi-beam LED, also updated headlamps as for that. And the length here coming to the side is 5 meters 13. And this is the typical GLS style with the very upright window and yeah, a more conservative style, so to speak. Also here then the wheel arches in vehicle color. Wheels from 20 to 23 inch, 21 inch would be standard in the US, and 22 inch is standard here for the 580 version for the 8-cylinder. And we'll see how it, behaves with the comfort and so on. Standard air suspension. We'll also drive it here on the German Autobahn for you here today. And towards the rear, also updated tail lamps with a more modern design here. Also, when you look a little bit closer, I think that's actually well done. So to give it a little bit more modern, fresh look. And in the lower part, fake exhaust police checks it out. Yeah, I mean, it's not pure fake, at least here. It's the 8-cylinder. They always want to have the same graphic. This air runs through, but the outside tip is not the actual exhaust. Yeah, 3.5 tons, by the way, is the towing capacity, so is also one of the very famous Mercedes trailer vehicles, so to speak. Turning indicators, that looks pretty cool, right? Because all of these small elements are being replaced by that then. Interesting idea. Yeah, just in the rear, maybe not as spectacular as in the front. At least it's visible enough, but actually more visible from the side than from the rear, honestly. Key fob, high gloss black. Well, it's actually, still quite worthy. Let's take it that way. Then the doors. Do we have soft close here, actually? Yeah, we do. Soft, so either soft close or slam it, and then it sounds pretty cool, right? Yeah, good sound. And here we also have these side step. You don't have to go for them. They look cool, actually. Yeah, they get dirty easily, however, and then when you get in and out, sometimes this can actually also make your pants also dirty right here. So yeah, you have to wear then high-grade leatherette pants, then it doesn't happen. Then here at the inside of the doors, everything covered here, also in the carbon fiber look. That's actually quite cool. Probably go for that you don't have more high gloss black. And here, this is still the generation where you could move these seats controls and they give feedback. I think it's better than the all new ones. Here then also, this is rather hard packed though, but there's a rubber cover in the lower part. Yeah, but this could be maybe a little bit better. Then this interior here with a nice entry badge. And steering wheel is now new with the facelift. It now has the hashtag capacitive BS buttons. So I think harder to control than before due to that. Then the seats here, this is the animal skin. In the Northern American market, you can also get the Artico leatherette. And I have to say, in both cases, actually, other competitors like the BMW X7 offer better comfort. It's not the best quality at that given price here. So also in the leatherette section, BMW, for example, has the better quality. So seating-wise, it's not ideal. Also here, the animal skin is really stiff, not that soft. However, space-wise, 189. 6'2", there's enough headroom left. And in the European market, they even don't offer any alternatives to the seat materials. So this is disappointing here at Mercedes. Then steering wheel. She responded to that.
Something went wrong.
Yes, something went wrong. Yeah, I would say so. Then the steering wheel up and down, in and out, easy control. I love these shifting pedals. They have great feedback, even though if it's not the most, let's say, best use case for a large SUV to have shifting pedals. I mean, probably when you go downhill for a longer period of time and so on, want to use the engine brake, then maybe, but it's not that, hey, I want to do it on the racetrack or something, but they just give you such a satisfying feedback. That's really awesome. And the favorite part of this vehicle is to come up very soon, because the rear seats and the trunk and the mechanism, the electric folding, this is so fun today, so definitely stay tuned for that very soon. Cockpit overview, signalized by this huge middle console with the panic handles here that Leah can also hold on tight while I'm driving. Very civilized as usual. Then we also have the carbon fiber decal element. In this case here, there's like an AMG premium line for the interior. Nice ambient lighting integration. That was what Mercedes always does very well. Then here the glove box also falls down a little bit dampened, but could be maybe more dampened. This is also a scent thing, so you can apply some perfume to the interior. And this huge middle console here, you can slide this one open, but it's a lot of high gloss black. And then you have adaptive cup holders. Here you can attach some cables, inductive charging pad, and pretty cool here, you have cooled or heated cup holders in the front. Then you have this pad here where you can control something of the infotainment system. This has also received an update here, so with the facelift, and also here an update for the visual part, also for the air vents, all horizontal in the mix. And what I love here still, yes, manual climate unit with clicking sounds. You can control the climate and also the fan speed and so on. So I really appreciate that it's not the all new latest generation of Mercedes vehicles, that we have a somewhat more conservative user interface. You can also control the air suspension from here in the middle part, for example, like that, here for upper and down, but also adjust according to the driving modes. And then split for the armrest with some clutter underneath and USB-C charger. And yeah, this is also a nice closing sound when you open or close that one. And one of my favorite things is all that we have the ambient lighting integration here at the side of the handle. That is also a good job. Some say it's maybe too much. I just love it. And here the screen integration, you can always see it from here, is here in this horizontal thing. And then with the ambient lighting once again underneath. Driver POV, look at that. Here are the capacitive feed. So this is like one field that also gives some kind of feedback, but then the capacitive function decides which part of the field you are pressing, and you can, for example, slide with the volume, but also press. Then the digital instruments with different stylings you can pick, also full screen map, for example, or this off-road view. That's pretty cool actually from the styling. And then there's also a head-up display next to not only off-road view for here, but also in the main infotainment system. You can go for that one here. And then you have all the off-road information here. I think the scheme looks cool, right? With this terrain view, that is really something pretty cool, isn't it? And what you can also do is here have this transparent bonnet feature. So here, when I turn on the engine and then I just go forward, there is a past feed being built up that you can see what is underneath the tires. So this is not a live feed from underneath the bonnet, but still you see where it is in comparison to the tires, that you don't damage the wheels and so on. So this is a pretty nice idea, isn't it? Then let's go back here. We have a main menu, all has been updated. Yeah, it's, let's say, simple enough, not the latest version. Most of the time you will use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto anyway. And today's panoramic roof is proudly presented to you by Leah. Here you can use this real lever still, and then you can actually, it goes all the way over the vehicle.
Wow.
There we go.
Do you hear it?
That's cool. So there's a very wide opening also. Pretty cool. Yeah. That's then the GLS convertible. And what I also would like to know, what about the sun blinds, like the visors here in the front? Can they be extended actually? And is there just one or two?
Good question.
There's two, right?
And
so they can be extended.
wow.
And also a second one then. So that's pretty cool actually. Rear seats, that's going to be very interesting. First of all, inside of the doors, everything nicely covered and so on, carbon fiber. And here we also still have the feedback to control the seats. Heated seats also available, and also interesting here, just pull this window lever one more time and then you have the electric shade. That's the mechanism I also prepared. And look at that, how all of the window is covered, and just pull down one more time and that's it. And I don't need separate screen for that or something like that. Then here when I'm driving as a tall driver, I still have enough of legroom. There's no problem at all. Super much legroom, and also with 189, even though the panoramic roof is here, all works. By the way, I can also control the interesting. Ah, there it is. Just didn't pull enough. There we go. I can control the top shade here from the rear. This is also a very, very rare function. It goes all the way in the front, but I want to have some more light here. This is really interesting. So hardly any other vehicle we see where I can control it with one button from the rear. Also then this top shade. And I also have here in the middle part, I can fold this down. Also with ambient light integration and have another screen. I can also put this out. But honestly, who would do that, and for what reason? I have no idea why would you do that. Yeah, it's maybe like a reminiscence of the past. Then here, inductive charging pad for your phone, some more space underneath, and if you fold this up, you can also sit here in the middle part. So either you get this through bench design, or as an alternative, you have a captain's seat set up here for the GLS, that it is a 6-seater. In this case here, then the 7-seater. And yeah, you can also sit in the middle, so this is easily working for 5 tall adults. Let's see if there's more possible. And here in the middle part, you also get a separate climate unit, a real one with a haptic feedback and so on. So pretty cool as for that. I turn it off now for the sound. And yeah, good point. Yeah, with 2 more USB-C channels. I hardly didn't see it from my perspective. Good point, Leah. Thank you. And ambient lighting also in the footwell in the rear, and you have the cup holders also here, some in the front here, like a very small one and then a bigger one that is also adaptive. And now what I'm going to do is, by the way, ISOFIX here on the front outside in the second seating row. Top tethers are behind that. So now if I move this part here forward, that I could still sit there, because we want to check out the space in the third seating row. Maybe let's put it like this. So here also electric control for the rear seats. And then there's this top lever I can pull. So I can fold the seat forward for an entry to the rear. It looks quite cool, right? And then it also goes up a little bit like this. That's nice. So now I squeeze myself in here. And could I still sit here to put the head restraints up? That requires some work. There we go. Pretty heavy. Yeah, legroom wise, not really. This doesn't work, but at least we also have ISOFIX here and top tether for the third seating row. So this is like a child seat machine here. Headroom wise, it does work for tall adults, but legroom wise, yeah. Not really, but this is not, let's say, that the main purpose of that one. But you do have massive amounts of legroom in the second seating row, and also some more comfort features like here USB-C chargers and also seat heating for the third row.
Wow.
We hardly see that. What we have here actually is when you press like this here, and then it says also roller cover. There you can also attach the cover from the trunk if you don't want to use it for the very back. Fold on this, and then you can also install the trunk cover right there. That's also pretty interesting.
That's amazing.
And let's see, can I? There we go. So I can also control the seat here one more time from the third row. So for example, I can make myself comfortable here and then cage myself in, or of course in the other way around if I want to get out again. So then you can see this very interesting mechanism. So this is really some piece of engineering, isn't it? And now to one of the most exciting parts for today, the trunk or boot with folding all the seats. It will be amazing. Wait for it. Let's open that one. Good feedback also, sound, electric hatch. Then you have a small cover here for the last row. And you can see, the trolley also fits underneath vertically. And this is also pretty cool. This is here 1 meters 20 or 47 inches here in the very front. So really wide right here. And the normal length of the back part here is like 55 centimeters or 22 inches. Some space here underneath. And now I first have to remove this one here. So you have to maybe like here. it's a little bit tricky like this. So, and then we have a free view. And now we can do the following. Here I fold the second row and a button for folding all at the same time. On the right side, I can lower or higher the vehicle from the air suspension for loading in and out, and here the third row. So, and also individually. I think probably the most spectacular feature is putting everything at once. However, to measure, it's better when I first do this. And here, let's take a look at that. Let's put the cover to the ground now. So there we go. So that's really nice, isn't it? And this is also the normal trunk length here of about 1.25 meters or 49 inches. And by the way, the height here is really high, 85 centimeters or 33 inches in the highest point actually. And now the second row, also electric. And this is just awesome, isn't it? Really, really cool. I love that mechanism. So, I mean, you don't have to do anything yourself there. And here, like this 2 meters or 79 inches, it's even longer than that here than for the full flex. And also, if you want to do everything in reverse again, now just one button here, all pull at once, and there everything goes back together. This looks
so
amazing,
nice,
right? Yeah, Leah is also really enthusiastic about this. Pretty cool, right? Shall we do it one more time with the all button? Put down again here. So I would just do it maybe like Homer Simpson style, you know, seats up, seats down, seats up, seats down, all day. Yeah. This is also how you can get your kids be enthusiastic about cars, not only about engines and sound, about seat folding, right? Top tether, by the way, third row, and also 3 actually in the second row. Engines, 3-liter 6-cylinder, diesel, also made in Europe, otherwise the 3-liter 6-cylinder petrol, but also the 4-liter V8. You have it right here in the GLS 580. Above that would only then come the same engine, but then in the AMG spec, then the 63 engine. Again, then of course a little bit different, the engine, not 1-to-1. This one here, the normal V8, is at 4.9 seconds in the acceleration figure, the EU figure 4.7 in the US, the miles per hour figure for the acceleration. And this one gives you 520 horsepower, all-wheel drive of course, always with a rear wheel bias. And another technology update is also that all the engines now get a mild hybrid boost for better efficiency and little bit of power. Sport mode. That was 50 to 130. Yeah, that V8 is going quite well. At least straight. Under 5 seconds in the acceleration figure from 0. So 4.9 is the EU figure to 100 kilometers an hour. And also some nice sound feedback. In the sport mode here, the throttle input is a little bit quicker actually. But here on the German Autobahn, we can actually also drive quicker, and that is soon to come. First of all, here at the normal motorway speed, sport mode here, the air suspension is a little bit stiffer. You can also vary that, see if it makes a huge difference. Now to the comfort mode, now it's a little bit more floating actually, and in general, the air suspension is set on a rather soft note, soft air suspension, floaty Mercedes ride. I really appreciate that, that's pretty cool. However, you also have 22-inch wheels here, and they do reduce the comfort. They're standard for the 580 here, for the 8-cylinder, and that sometimes gives you a strange driving feeling, because you think, hey, the air suspension is very soft and gives you nice comfort, but then you're going over some bumps, and you feel them pretty harshly, and you think like, wait a minute, wasn't the air suspension soft and nice and great in comfort? What is happening here? So by that, you have a soft suspension, but with the big wheels, it can still feel bumpy. And that's not ideal. So I would go for a GLS, then probably, yeah, I have to go for a smaller engine then with smaller wheels. Once again, back to the sport one from 130. 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour, and even quicker, 220. And now you see the situations. Whoa, when you have this.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's so heavy. Oh.
Yeah, you literally feel that when you are on the brakes. Yeah, Leah's already taking a toll for that. Whew. Yeah, and that's the thing. Not meant to race it, that one, because the engine can do it. It's really, really powerful. But then again, so much weight needs to be decelerated again. Yeah, and you do feel that. And although you're on the sport mode, still the suspension is still keeping everything in comfort check. Really nice. But yeah, as I said, when the road is nice and flat, then the wheels are no problem. But as soon as there's some irregularities on the road, yeah, doesn't feel too good. The suspension is itself great, definitely. Steering, yeah, it has some kind of dead zone here, especially when you are in the comfort mode. This is probably meant to driving straight, to motorway, cruising and so on. But I would like to have more feeling, because here hardly anything is happening. And recent Mercedes steering wheels, an all-new model, all new models are actually better in that respect. So Mercedes has taken a huge leap forward as for that respect, but here not a very fine feeling. Noise insulation here at 160 kilometers an hour, so already quite, quite quick, quite fast. It is kind of windy outside here today, but I would say it's not the best noise comfort we had in a large SUV, but definitely also not the worst. But I have to say that yes, the V8 is a little fun to drive, but does this one give me the feeling of driving such a high-priced premium vehicle that I would pay a 150,000 dollars for that? That's doubtful. So yes, of course, you get a lot of stuff that is good and typical for Mercedes and so on, but I think the driving quality so far does not really justify the price. That's my point, So maybe it's also better than a cheaper product, but not so much better than the way cheaper product. You know what I mean? What's your take on that? Yeah, okay, Leah agrees.
I feel it's like a V-Class.
She said it's similar to a V-Class in driving.
It's so heavy and wow.
Now the Mercedes guys will be pretty angry at us.
I'm so sorry, but I don't like it. No.
But you heard Leah lately in the BMW X3 review that she wishes the Mercedes
the GLC,
and prefers the GLC over the X3. So that just to save
But it's a different level.
Yeah, different level and different segment. But maybe will save Leah from the wrath of the Mercedes guys. Yeah. We're also going here into an S combination now, switching the motorways, and we'll see more about this sporty or non-sporty characteristics. And there we go. Of course, like 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, then it's really silent, of course. No problem about that. So here in the sport mode, air suspension a little bit stiffer, but you really feel it's like a huge boat you're driving over, and yeah, not the best feeling in the steering. So there, for example, a BMW X7 would give you way more joy in driving. And also the big Audi SUVs, like a Q7, a Q8 and so on. Q8, of course, a little bit shorter as for that. But then again, their suspension setup at Audi is for the SUVs then rather stiff. So the question is what you prefer. If you rather go straight, then this soft air suspension is probably better. And to me personally, I do always prefer air suspensions which tell you there are air suspensions and are soft and floaty. I love that. That's what I also like about the Mercedes air suspensions if they are not AMG. It's just, again, I think that the wheel choice is just too large for that vehicle here. And yeah, the solution probably would then be the 6-cylinder, which can be bought with smaller wheels. Actually, let's accelerate it out one more time. Wow, gives you that push. There we go, in 140 again. So that is of course pretty cool in the performance. The downside of that is a super high consumption. So from the German vehicles, is one of the least efficient ones you can buy overall. 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, cruise control is the minimum. 12 liters and more kilometers. So, but then when you go into a mix of a little bit higher speed, city, it's more than 15 liters on 100 kilometers. In MPG figures, 20 to 16 MPG US and 23 to 19 MPG UK. That's the span then here for the V8. And yeah, this is of course then once again better with the 6-cylinder. And let's change this motorway one more time. This is also kind of, oh, Leah's already preparing to hold herself tight. It's also a treacherous bend here because there's a transverse bump in the middle. And exactly now, that was actually mastered quite well, I have to say. But yeah, you just have this shaking up effect a little bit there. You just feel the weight you are carrying there. And most of the time you would probably stay in comfort mode and then just keep it simple, keep it slow and so on. And yeah, control the climate unit, the manual one, while driving easily without looking down. So just looking straight and changing the climate there. That's of course a cool thing to do, definitely. So this is more thought out to like long US highways where you rather drive straight, 1 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, and then it does also most of the things well. And the soft air suspension makes sense. Also the steering is maybe not too sensitive and so on, and that's a noise insulation at really, really high speeds is not where, for example, a Mercedes E-Class or S-Class would be at higher speeds and so on. Yeah, and for the brakes, you have to think about that this is a heavy vehicle and that you have to be a little bit earlier on the brakes actually. One more time, I will go to the motorway to check out some of the assistance systems because that's also very important for that. But here also when you drive a little bit slower, maneuvering it in the city can be kind of challenging, especially like in narrow European cities. In the US, it's maybe not a problem, but this one's also not being offered with the rear axle steering. And that also gives me a hard time to maneuver it in and out of the basement garage. So hardly any other vehicle, which is actually giving me such a hard time not to damage the wheels at the like small, sidewalk thing than in the basement garage, where I still don't know why people built that in the basement garage because it's just annoying for everyone. Yeah, so not that flexible, not that cruisable in the city, definitely. Way more fun than here on the Autobahn, definitely. But as I said, the driving fun itself is not the best inside this segment. Then when we get here to the assistance systems, now with the capacitive controls here on the steering wheel in this facelift, so doesn't really speak for the facelift, I would say. And then here I've also set the active lane keeping assist, and then let's see how smoothly it keeps me in the lane. Yeah, so far actually quite nice. So not too many hectic reactions and so on. And then there's also a blind spot monitor which is integrated in the side mirror. So assistance systems wise, everything really smooth and well thought out. Yeah, you have to know the limits of that vehicle here. Pricing on the North American market, at least $90,000 for the GLS, and then $115,000 for the 580 for the 8-cylinder, and of course then when you spec it some maybe like $130,000 or something like that. On the European market, always more expensive. Also the prices including the VAT. So €110,000 for the GLS base, €138,000 for the 580, and then some €145,000, something like that, when you spec it also as it stands here right now. In the driving dynamics, it cannot catch up, for example, especially with the BMW X7. There it just offers more driving fun from the BMW perspective. This one here more with the floaty soft air suspension, which I personally like, but then I would go for smaller wheels, and these are not available here with the 8-cylinder, so we should rather go then with the 6-cylinder. Is also better in the fuel efficiency because it gives you good boost. It also sounds nice, maybe good for towing, but for most use cases, the 6-cylinder will definitely be the better engine. Here is also a little bit less weight in this Mercedes yacht, so to speak, because it feels sometimes like a big boat to steer around there. My favorite ones are definitely like the flexible solutions there on the inside. And tell me what you think. And now compare the BMW X7 or size smaller, the Mercedes GLE.